Hi everyone, it's Anja. Today I have a treat for you. I interviewed Penny Kelly, a very interesting woman. Her website is called consciousnessonfire.com. And Penny had a Kundalini awakening 40 or so years ago and has been fully conscious since then. And so she talks a little bit about what that actually means. For example, she didn't sleep for 3 years after the awakening. And she shares that being fully conscious is maybe not such a blessing as many might think. And shortly after she had this awakening, she also received visitations from little men in robes. And she also wrote a book about this where she shares her story. This looks like this, The Robes, Penny Kelly, which you can get on her website. And these little men in robes took her to the future as far as 2413, I think she said. And also to our time now, which was the future back then. This all happened in the 80s. So she has a lot to share about the rocky times right now, 2018, 19 until 2025, I believe. My reason to talk with her was mainly to talk with her about cryptocurrencies, because I had watched many interviews with her on YouTube, and I'm going to link to a few in the description below. And in one of them, she had mentioned that she had bought Bitcoin just in a side sentence. And I thought, oh, someone who has been to the future buys Bitcoin. I'm sure she knows a little more than the average person about cryptocurrency. So I was really interested in hearing her view and thoughts on cryptocurrencies and the changes that our world and humanity is going through and about to go through. So I think I'm going to post 2 versions of this video because, of course, we went into all sorts of directions and spoke about many different consciousness-related things. Yeah, so I'm going to make a small one just on cryptocurrencies, and then I'm also going to post the full version here. I hope you enjoy this. I certainly did.
And when I first saw the cryptocurrency, it was probably 10 years ago, maybe?
Well, Bitcoin is just about 10 years old now, yeah.
Okay, it was when it first came out, and I was electrified. It's like, there's that money. Wow. There it is.
So you were shown a new kind of money way back when?
Digital money. There was no cash. The moving of money from this physical stuff to this digital stuff, to virtual money, it's really an important step, because we have to begin to assess what's really of value. What is really of value? And that move from the gold and silver to dollars to cryptos is part of that evolution of our thinking about what's really of value. And we can't just cut off the money, because we have this whole planet full of people who have now been taught to think that money is their survival. They don't know how to operate in Mother Nature anymore. They don't know how to grow food. They don't know how to process food. They don't know how to preserve food. And some people would rather die than have to kill and dress an animal. They just couldn't do it. And so the move to digital, that's a really important phase. And it's a phase that shifts all of the power. And that power shift is what's really important. And when I was thinking of, before we got online, and I was kind of excited about the whole conversation, I thought, there's one thing that I really want to get across, and that is that the powers that be current powers that be have had control over a lot of stuff, that is a lot of gold and a lot of silver, and then a lot of dollars, and they want control over the cryptos, but they don't have it yet. And I don't think they're going to get it. That's the hard part for them. And by choosing crypto, you choose to end the old system. You choose to get out of that. And I think that that's going to be a necessary and important choice for us.
So I also feel that cryptocurrencies are just a phase. I believe one day we have no money anymore, but I also believe we need this phase, like you said, because we are still wired in a certain way.
That's right.
But you're saying this will be as soon as like 2050 that we start to use less money or phase out money?
Yeah, 2050.
So that's soon. That's in 30 years. Yeah.
30 years. Yeah.
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 Also related to cryptocurrency is, of course, the topic of decentralization, which is also what you already mentioned when you talked about the redistribution of power.
That's right.
And I see this in many different areas. I only became aware of it once I got involved with Bitcoin and I heard the term decentralization for the first time. But then I realized where, like even Brexit and the EU, you know, is now a symptom of decentralization to me. And in the beginning I was like, oh my God, why? And now I'm like,
I don't think we can continue with nations because it's an artificial separation between the hearts and minds of people. So
and borders are also so weird. Sometimes when I just float up and I look, I'm like, whoever invented borders?
Right. When you look at a globe of the world, it's like, I don't see any borders in there.
And I'm always like, do other planets do that?
Very good. Capitalism shovels money up the mountain to the person at the top. And that just it can't continue.
Yeah.
You can't have this huge disparity between people who are hungry and people who have an unrealistic amount of money.
And that is also why I believe blockchain technology that underlies Bitcoin and all of these cryptocurrencies this technology is a result of a new consciousness, because it facilitates this even distribution. And yes, there will still be rich people, but when the rich get richer, the poor get richer too in this new system. And in our current system, it's profit for a few and well-being for all. This is how I always think of the difference between the old and the new paradigm.
Very nice. Very nice.
So that's why recently somebody said again, Bitcoin is a pyramid scheme. And
oh, wow. They don't get it. Yeah. I think the first time it really hit me, the power of blockchain, I was reading some analyst's work, and he just laid it right out there. He said, you know, this blockchain has the power to hold all of the details of every transaction, and that's going to make it unnecessary for the government to have all these records that they keep in all these offices. So here in America, we have property taxes we have to pay. We have to pay on the fact that we own a house, or we own a boat, or we own an airplane, or we own a car. There's all kinds of fees associated with ownership. And the only way that they're able to track that ownership is because the capitalist system has created this system of records and offices that it's you know, they're trying to get money out of people all the time.
But also this whole system costs so much money.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the people in, I think, any country, in any population, are working as these record keepers.
That's right.
And when blockchain takes over, of course, many people are scared to understand a little bit or have learned a little bit about blockchain. Decentralization means that all these jobs will disappear. So many people will lose their jobs. And I'm like, yay! We don't need to spend our life in 9-to-5 rat race anymore. And there will be, the blockchain on the other hand, of course, brings many opportunities for extra and different income.
Yeah.
I'm working with an organization now who wants to raise consciousness in the world by getting more people to meditate. And they will build an app on the blockchain which pays people for meditation.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay.
And in the same way, so many things will be tokenized and will be rewarded for little things that we are doing for free right now, that are just part of our day, like
That's
posting on Facebook or something. We create content on Facebook. Why aren't we getting paid for that?
That's
Why
right.
are only certain people here? So anyway, so I'm not worried about all of us losing our jobs, because we will have a replacement for that income. Of course, it has to come, but it will come, I'm very certain. Well, you have been to the future. You know more about this than I do, probably, hopefully.
Well, we're headed into a time when, and I think it's pretty close now, actually. I've been a little more worried about what's going to go on in Europe than I have in the US. There's this period of chaos we're in it right now, but between 2015 and 2021, and it reaches its most intense point in 2018, 19, 20.
Yeah.
And by 2021, the money system is not there. The money, and I've seen that over and over, and I keep thinking, can't we have a dual system to kind of, go
but
through?
isn't that the dual system? Isn't Bitcoin? I mean, this is the reason I'm expecting the next financial crisis any day now.
I am too.
Yes,
Yeah.
and many people do. So this is why I bought Bitcoin.
Yeah.
That's the only reason that I thought, okay, I don't know whether this new system wins or whether the old system stays on. I just want to have money in both places. So
that's right.
I don't need to care which one will win. I hope we will go towards decentralization, but how can I possibly know? So that was my reason, that was my way to bring a part of my money to safety, basically, and get prepared. So what do you know about this?
Yeah, ditto. I have told clients, it's about gold, silver, land, jewelry or jewels or precious stones.
Yeah.
Some art or sculpture that's valuable, and your cryptos.
Yeah.
Period. That's it. That is the whole fiat system is just not looking very good. And
and it has a lifespan. Every fiat currency has a lifespan, and I think we are way
overdue. Yeah. I think it's already blowing up. Nobody is talking about it. I think people have been kind of like, are we good? Are we?
But we see Venezuela, what's happening there, and how there's a cryptocurrency called Dash that is saving, really life-saving for people right now. So, and who knows, maybe this is just a small example for the whole world in a couple of years. Who knows?
I know. I look at the cryptos, and I remember way back when hearing about, I think it was, I called it dog coin, but I think it was Dogecoin.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was like, the story was that somebody started it as a joke, and it took off. And I thought, oh, look at that, even Dogecoin is doing okay.
Yeah, and then there were crypto kitties, and so all the dogs and cats are on the blockchain.
Yeah. And I think as we build out the infrastructure for exchange, that's a critical piece. a very critical piece. And I am so excited about that. And I'm kind of watching, thinking, come on, keep going.
Yeah, it's important because that's where the old system and the new system clash, and the old system still has power.
That's true.
To cut off the channels how we can exchange. And that's why also I think next year will be really the year of the decentralized exchange. Well, hopefully it will be.
Yeah.
But you mentioned somewhere, so you mentioned that you bought Bitcoin, and you also mentioned that only a few of them will make it. Everybody, I think, knows that or thinks that way, but which ones? Which are the cryptocurrencies that are going to make it?
Well, here's some things that I have seen or read or, you know, got some pretty good information about. But the things I've seen is that if you don't want to make any mistakes, you don't want to take any risk, then Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, and Litecoin are really it.
Yeah.
Now, Ethereum has some potential, but right now it has a ton of problems.
Yeah.
And it has been used for some pretty ugly things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to come out. And I think that that's going to affect what Ethereum does.
Oh.
Ethereum Classic may do okay. So, you know, Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, and Litecoin are like the 3 stars, you know, in the sky.
But that's something that you have.
That's what I've seen.
You've seen this.
Yeah.
With your consciousness.
Right.
Okay.
So then what I've seen in terms of other coins is that they're kind of up and down and around. There's a couple that I have seen that just keep coming back up to the top. Veritasium is one of them. And there's another one, I forget what that other one is. And then there's a few that I have seen that are mediocre, but you don't lose. You don't lose, but they're only mediocre.
That's when you buy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, they never get above mediocre. And those, you know, the ones that are really mediocre are really Ethereum.
Yeah.
Which it goes against everything.
I buy, or like the ones that I invest in is based on a lot of research, but also on a feeling, on intuition, and you know.
Yeah.
And Ethereum gives me nothing. I have no.
Okay. Ditto.
I have one Ether that I bought last year when it was, I don't know, $15 or $20. So. Wow. And I'm keeping that, so I can't go into minus on that anymore. But it's just, and no matter how many good things people will say about it, I just have no relationship with. I don't know.
Very good.
And
it has been used.
Dash, on the other hand, that I'm super connected, feel super connected to.
Yeah, Dash and Digibyte both do pretty well. Let's see, what else is there? I think it's Kron or Kron is one of them.
Okay.
Or maybe it's Tron.
Tron, that rings a bell, yeah.
Yeah, that one does not do well.
Yeah, there was a big hype, and then, well, everything went down since.
Oh, did it? Okay.
Since
See,
December,
I haven't tried it.
Yeah, it's good. It's good not to check. If you have don't look right now.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So, you know, if you want to, and here's the other thing. I'm not in it for trading purposes. Yeah. I'm in it for security purposes.
Yeah, me too.
And I wanted also, I have told my family, and they're not listening very well, but I've said to them, get into the cryptos now, because there's this long learning curve as to how to handle it. And yes, you can't do a whole lot with it in terms of buying, but you can do some things.
Yeah.
And the infrastructure is coming.
Yeah.
And we may have some difficulties with the internet in 2019 and 2020. And that will affect what happens with the cryptos, etc. But overall, if we get through that period, then it's pretty clear sailing after that. So, and the little man in brown robe said, if your internet goes down, bring it back up, bring it back up. It's the symbol of the global brain.